Pluto affects the collective psyche. There are many different individuals within the collective. Astrologically, we're all having Pluto transit somewhere different within our life. But there still comes back to being a collective lesson for all the individuals. And what that was spiritually, if you can obtain mastery in a given field, you have the ability, but you have to have the vision and foresight to become your own Capricorn, which is company, boss, CEO, all the things that pertain to that. So the spiritual lesson is one of mastery, but what mastery produces is a self-sufficient boss. Simply put, what's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of 𝐦𝐨𝐿𝐿 Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about the actual spiritual lesson of Pluto and Capricorn, taking a deep dive into that. So let's get into it. I'm excited for today's episode. We're recording this under a Sagittarius moon. Mercury is freshly in Sagittarius, and we're coming off of that new moon in Scorpio, so it's a new cycle. With that said, I want to let you guys know that we're ramping up things over here at Gemini Brown Astrology. I'm at a point where I think many of you know my true nature, my true intentions, and that is to teach. I love teaching. I love really connecting with people, providing perspective. And one thing, which I guess you could say is paradoxical about how I've come to know you guys and grow here on YouTube, is that in a way, it's kind of impersonal, because I always say this: YouTubers, we're skilled at talking to ourselves. And then it's the feedback that we get from you, the viewers, that allow us to build on that. And I know firsthand that teaching is a beautiful exchange. And when it comes to this information, there is a particular layer of depth that you can obtain when the exchange is being had in a proper way. So with that said, I'm bringing back my Lion's Den classes, but I'll be offering these on multiple days throughout the week. So if you are interested in coming through to my astrological classes, send me an email with the subject saying Lion's Den, and we'll take it from there. If you've attended the Lion's Den in the past, feel free to comment, send some positive energy, let others know, how it was. But I'll give you an example on how I teach further there. There's the information that, we undoubtedly get to. This means this is how we can look at this. But it's the certain questions and the conversations that can arise from them. So right now, at this point in time, Pluto's at the 29th degree of Capricorn. I offer you all this question. This is something, we'll unpack in my class. Is like, if you had to grade yourself, give yourself a grade for the Pluto in Capricorn transit, what would you give yourself and why? It is this type of astrological analysis that truly moves me, and that allows, I think, one to understand their experience more. So what I'm going to talk about more here is just really understanding the particular moment in time that we're at, and looking at how things have gone and allowing that to power the future. So I'm really excited to get into that. So within closing this out, if you're interested, send me that email, subject Lion's Den. Let me know your availability, and we'll go from there. But I'm really excited for it. Still got sales going on, North Node readings, other readings on sale, astro coaching, all of that. All right. So let's get into today's episode. So today we're talking about the spiritual lesson of Pluto in Capricorn. Let's start with the obvious lessons. Just in general, what did you gain from Pluto in Capricorn? Well, when Pluto transits a sign, it's having a collective influence. It's powering the collective psyche. And in the sense of Capricorn, it powered the collective psyche to be more professional. And as a result, everyone's work ethic should have improved, or at minimum, become more conscious of how one's work ethic contributes towards success. Where astrology gets tricky, and I've come to realize this is why I'm an astrologer, because I understand the interweavings of the energy. It's not all static or logic. It's a combination. Pluto affects the collective psyche. There are many different individuals within the collective. Astrologically, we're all having Pluto transit somewhere different within our life. But there still comes back to being a collective lesson for all the individuals. And what that was spiritually, if you can obtain mastery in a given field, you have the ability, but you have to have the vision and foresight to become your own Capricorn, which is company, boss, CEO, all the things that pertain to that. So the spiritual lesson is one of mastery, but what mastery produces is a self-sufficient boss, simply put. So here's another tricky little part of this thing. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. What does Saturn do? It restricts, it limits, it deals with time. So part of the lesson in obtaining success or becoming the Capricorn entity deals with having to, what I say, look silly or start with nothing, where you really learn the lesson of Aries, and once again, that no one tells me to be. I just have to be. I have to will myself towards it. You have to act. Deals with having to develop a love of doing the work, even if no one is watching, applauding, or even grateful. Now, I don't want to lose anybody, but if we look at the Capricorn archetype in the first house, the ninth house is Virgo, which very much so spells out what I just said to you. Part of obtaining, you will obtain success if you can put in enough time or go through the phase in which you are not respected, seen, or it, let's say logically, it doesn't feel like it's making sense. So then the next part of how this deals with like mastery, because mastery is a commitment to the work of becoming whatever it is you're trying to become.
Mastery makes it look easy. But if you tried to attempt something a master has accomplished, you'd look like a fucking fool. Mastery is nothing but a practice. Spirituality is a practice. Astrology is a practice. Learning tarot is a practice. Being a good person, making the right choices is a practice. Hell, they even call doctors who do healing, their work is a practice, because it's not always right. Jake from Adventure Time said, to be good at something, you first have to suck at it. To become a master, you must embrace looking like a goddamn fool first. Happy Sunday. It's early as fuck o'clock. Let's dance.
I always have to add this part in here. What makes all of this even weirder or trickier is the presence of Neptune in Pisces during this time, which adds a confusing element. When we look at the people which we say, well, who are the masters? How do I recognize someone that has achieved mastery? In this day and age, I would say the illusion is that someone who's achieved it is boisterous with it, that they're constantly in your face with their mastery in a Pluto or material type of way. So let's say you're a person out there and you feel within yourself, like, I've really been busting my ass, working hard and doing what I have to do, but you haven't necessarily seen the results that maybe you wanted. I would say this part of the lesson, and this goes back to Pluto and Capricorn, is about using one's own work ethic for self, or eventually going into business for yourself. If you look around, everyone's doing it. The key for you, the individual, is how long are you willing to bet on yourself until you turn that corner. So when I look around, and this is with an honest eye, there are so many people who have given up on themselves. And from a logical standpoint, I get it. You may feel like, yo, I grinded for 2 months. I went hard for 2 months. But in reality, that's not enough. One of the metaphors attached to Capricorn is that of the mountain. It is like climbing a mountain. And that also is likened towards what they call the ladder of success. So to pursue these things takes a relentlessness, a deep desire to want to win or contribute. Everyone's motivation will be different. But when it is mastery, I find that it's often not loud. It's demonstrative. Masters go to work. They aren't necessarily concerned with publicizing it. They just want to put in the work. So I say all that to say, now we come here in this moment. This moment is so important. And the reason this moment is so important is because if you're here with conscious eyes, you understand where you've been, and more importantly, like why you've been through what you've been through, which gives you the perspective on how to deal with other things that may come your way, but ultimately help you cast a vision for your future. A lot of things on spirituality is about accountability. And if you are accountable, you will be formulating ways, innovative ways. Now, Saturn and Aquarius type of feel here. Innovative ways to create that structure and discipline within your life and ultimately for society. We're going to need it, man. We're going to need it. So I just wanted to share this message with y'all. And I hope everybody, enjoys. Feel free to chime in. I look forward to whoever's interested in my classes. If you need a reading, check out my website. Until next time, peace.